Aaron Rodgers is a Pittsburgh Steeler. What is going on, guys? It is Chus here from the No Buts About It show, here to announce the signing of Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the jersey I am wearing is not Mason Rudolph. Believe it or not, it is actually Justin Fields. It's really funny because I actually thought that he was the future in Pittsburgh, but unfortunately now I have just the symbol of what once was. It's kind of funny though looking on it now, because Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers will be playing each other week 1, which is very interesting because Justin Fields obviously has something to prove as he battles his former team being the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers will be battling his former team being the New York Jets, who cut him at the beginning of the offseason this past year. So kind of an exciting battle there, but I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, obviously, and obviously I have this Justin Fields jersey, and I was banking a lot on Justin Fields, also banking on the other number 2 being Mason Rudolph. And now here we sit as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan reacts to Aaron Rodgers coming to the Burgh. So quick little disclaimer, my internet currently is down. Verizon Fios home internet has confirmed with me that there is a service issue in my area and it should be resolved within the next 16 hours. But this cannot wait 16 hours. This signing for the Steelers is pretty big news. So I'm kind of doing this on the whim. I usually use Google Docs as a way to put notes down. I can't get onto the internet at all. So right now I'm just kind of working with my big brain, and if I screw up any stats or dates or anything like that, I apologize greatly. Just work with me here. I don't care how much you trash my opinion on it, but honestly I have a pretty neutral opinion, to be completely honest, to a degree I guess. But yeah, I don't care how hard you go on the opinion, but I just don't want you to go so hard on me on the other stuff, because I'm kind of, my hands are tied right now. So please go easy on me when it comes to, screwing up some of that stuff. But I shouldn't be. I should be pretty good. I'm pretty good. But that's a disclaimer. Let's get into this. So Aaron Rodgers, a Pittsburgh Steeler, he has signed a 1-year deal. I don't have a money amount as of this moment. I don't believe that it has been fully announced. He will be attending mandatory minicamp next week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as reported from ESPN, as well as Ian Rappaport, as well as many other sources. So Aaron Rodgers coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether you believe it or not, it's been all over the place today. And now Aaron Rodgers, well, he's finally made his decision after sitting in his cave for the last 6 months probably. Nah, but with all due respect, he probably was not sitting in a cave like he was a couple years ago with the Jets and that whole decision. But needless to say, he made us wait a very long time. And now that it is finally here, it doesn't feel real. And to be completely honest, since he made me wait, it's kind of made me move on with the idea of having Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I've kind of already been on this Mason Rudolph, Will Howard train for the last couple of weeks, just because that's what I've just been hearing about in the news. Aaron Rodgers has pretty much become a distant memory to me. So I've been kind of banking on the fact that, we're going to have Mason Rudolph as the starter, Will Howard as the quarterback 2, and Skylar Thompson will be the quarterback 3. Not the craziest, outstanding quarterback room like we may have had last year with Fields and Wilson, but it's all right. It'll probably get us to the same record that we had last year and maybe a playoff win if we're lucky, but not expecting too much. Now with Aaron Rodgers added to the mix, like I said, it just doesn't feel real, and not that that's a bad thing, but it's kind of weird, if that makes sense. Now, I don't mean this signing in a bad way, being a weird signing. I mean it more or less on the fact that we had to wait so long, and it's just kind of weird now that it finally has occurred, more or less. We've been waiting on this. It's been months, weeks, and we finally get it now in a random Thursday in June, and I don't know, it just feels like a really out-of-the-blue weird signing after we just kind of moved on from the idea of having him, and now we will have him, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad signing, necessarily. I just don't know how to go forth with it, just because I don't know what to expect with him, but we'll kind of break it down a little bit here. So our new quarterback 1, because I can't see why Mason Rudolph or Will Howard would start now, is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He is a 41-year-old quarterback, which obviously already scares me because when you have a quarterback over the age of 40, you know it can always be a little wishy-washy, and he will be 42 by the time the end of the season rolls around. I believe his birthday is on December 2nd, so by the time like that end point of the season comes around, he'll be 42. Not that 41 to 42 mark will really change too much of how he's going to play, but needless to say, he's a little bit of an older quarterback than what we are typically used to, considering we went with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson last year, Russell Wilson being in his mid-30s and Justin Fields being in his mid to late 20s. The point being is he's a little older than we're used to, especially over the last couple of seasons, but that being said, will the age completely affect how well he plays? Personally, I think it's too soon to tell because last season at the age of 40 with the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers had a pretty decent season, all things considered. Yes, he wasn't winning games and there was a whole lot of issues that may have went on, but at the end of the day, he did have 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards passing, which, to be completely honest, is a lot better than we have seen, statistically speaking, over the last couple of seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks that we have had. Now, Fields and Wilson, I think, were pretty decent last year, but in all things considered, statistically speaking, Aaron Rodgers does look like the better quarterback on paper. Now, Russell Wilson did appear to collapse at the end of the year. I don't think it was all on him, but I do think that he had some issues last year, but I also blame Arthur Smith too. I think Fields was to blame for that Cowboys loss. Partial blame. I don't mean full blame on the loss. I just want to get that all things considered. It was also very much the defense collapsing at the end of the game and not being able to stop Dak Prescott. But needless to say, Justin Fields also is a part of the blame in that loss in that game. I think he played his heart out against the Colts. I think Wilson showed great signs of light against the Washington Commanders. And I think that he also played really well in his first game against the Jets, but struggled towards the end of the season. Aaron Rodgers, same gist. I think Aaron Rodgers had a lot of decent games last season. But I think also he had some ones where he struggled, such as that Sunday Night Football game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with Devontae Adams when Russell Wilson first started that game. That was his first game as a starter. Russell Wilson, yeah, that was his. I was there. I was in the tent. That was me. I was there. But needless to say, you had two decent quarterbacks. One that wanted to stay until the very end. Russell Wilson wanted to stay with the Steelers until the very end, and only signed with the Giants when he knew that the Steelers didn't want him. Justin Fields, heck out of Dodge. He wanted to get out of here. But the thing that I have with that is, okay, yeah, you let Russell Wilson walk. Okay, sure. But why wouldn't you want to sign Justin Fields? And I know I have his jersey and stuff like that, but the reason that I've been so against the move, and I'm kind of okay with it now, but why I was so against it at the beginning part of this year was because why would you let the mid to late 20-year-old quarterback walk for a 41-year-old vet that has an Achilles injury from not 2 seasons ago and sign him to a 1-year deal with the expectation that he's probably going to retire after the season is over? Whereas Fields, unless, God forbid, some freak accident happens, is probably going to be tenured for at least another decade. Whether he's a starter or not would remain to be seen, but why would you let Justin Fields walk for this guy who's going to toy with you the entire offseason? And he did. Like I said, it's weird for me now because he's actually a Steeler, but for the last 2-3 months, it's always been like, will Rodgers sign? Will Rodgers sign? It's been the news all this time. And now he finally signs. But he's been toying with us this entire offseason. And then you have Russell Wilson, who wanted to stay with the Steelers until the very end, and then left. I don't know. I just think it's a little weird to put so much time and effort into this guy when we don't really know what to expect. And he could be really good. He really could be. His stats show that he was really good last year, but you have a guy that's young. You had a guy that wanted to stay. Both did okay. Maybe not great, but you're taking a chance on Aaron Rodgers of uncertainty. You're really not sure what to expect. Why not just go with what you do know? And whether that's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields or at that point Mason Rudolph, because you know what you're going to get with him. Why not just run with those guys is what I was saying. Now, on the contrary, Aaron Rodgers coming into Pittsburgh, he has had multiple MVP seasons. He's had multiple playoff wins as well as many NFC championship appearances. He's a great quarterback. He may be older, but he still shows signs of light every time he's out there on the field, and he could be a really good piece to the puzzle for the Steelers on offense, considering we've kind of struggled in that position for the last couple of seasons. Now, like I said, it's really too hard to tell if Aaron Rodgers is going to do well or not in the scheme of Arthur Smith. But with guys like DK Metcalf and Caleb Johnson, rookie, Jalen Warren, and other weapons that are remain to be seen since we have just gotten rid of George Pickens, it'll be interesting to see how well he does. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a similar playing field right now to the Jets, ironically enough. But like I said, still remains to be seen how Aaron Rodgers does with a Pittsburgh scheme in comparison to a Jets scheme. But I think it'll be very interesting, and I think we will do decently. I just don't think we're going to win week 1. So my prediction week 1 is going to be an 18-15 loss to the New York Jets. Write that in. Justin Fields-led New York Jets are going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Aaron Rodgers week 1 in MetLife Stadium, 18-15. And I don't think that's going to be the story for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense the entirety of this season. I think, though, I still don't see us going any higher than 10-7. I just don't really see with the weapons that we have for Aaron Rodgers, to be completely honest, that we're going to go anything crazy. Now, if this was George Pickens and DK Metcalf, might be a little different, but we're back to what we were dealing with these last couple of seasons anyway, without a wide receiver 2 as like a permanent core guy it would have been George Pickens. Now we just have a better version of George Pickens and still nobody else to remove the load in case Metcalf gets hurt or, he's double covered or triple covered or something. So Rodgers, I feel like, is still going to struggle. But then again, I think any quarterback was going to struggle in that scheme. So whether you throw in Fields or Wilson or Rodgers or Mason or Will Howard or Skylar Thompson, you're still going to struggle because this offense, in my opinion, still doesn't have the weapons to produce hard 31-17 final numbers. I just don't. I think we're still going to win games. I still think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to do okay, but I don't think it's really going to matter who we have in the backfield when we don't have a wide receiver 2. And I think Caleb Johnson's going to be a great running back, but it's going to take him probably most of the year to develop and get used to it. Time will tell. So am I okay with the signing? Sure. Would it make much of a difference to have him start over anybody else? I don't really think it really would have mattered if Mason Rudolph would have started. I mean, I don't know. I'm fine with it. Like I said, I much rather would have seen Fields in a Steelers jersey this season. I would have been cool with watching Mason Rudolph start. I think it would have been almost like a finish the story type thing, especially if he went 10-7 and won a playoff game or something crazy. But at the end of the day, I don't really care how the season goes as long as we win a playoff game. And if something stupid happens and we go 9-8 and win a wild card playoff game away against the Chiefs with Aaron Rodgers under center, and then we lose in the divisional round and then Aaron Rodgers retires the next year, I feel like that would be the most Steelers thing ever in the last decade, very on par with the Steelers. So let's hope that happens. Let's write that in. Actually, not 9-8. We'll go 10-7. We go to Kansas. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say Baltimore. Well, we'll say Baltimore or something. Maybe not Kansas City, or maybe Kansas City. I don't know. We beat somebody on the road as the 6th seed, 10-7 record Pittsburgh Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers is under center, and we win. Yeah, first playoff game since the Obama administration. Let's go. Woo! So coming from a Steelers fan, from my perspective, I'm more pessimistic for the signing than I am optimistic. I think it wouldn't have really mattered who we would have signed at quarterback. I think I would have been pessimistic regardless, just because I think after the George Pickens trade, I think my whole uncertainty really skyrocketed. And having freaking any quarterback back there, I think they were going to struggle just because you only have one wide receiver, you've got a rookie running back, and you've got kind of a newer offensive line still getting their feet wet. I don't know. I just think that it's not going to be a crazy offense explosion this season with adding Aaron Rodgers. And I'm unsure of how he's going to act in the locker room. I don't know how he's going to act with the coaches. He's usually somewhat okay, but sometimes he really likes to take control like he did in New York. He really liked to take control with the Devontae Adams pickup and all these other pickups and whatnot. And I don't know what to expect, and I'm more pessimistic of a possible 0-17 season than expecting high things to occur this season. But maybe I'm going to be wrong, and I really do hope Aaron Rodgers does well because I always want what's best, but I'm more pessimistic right now just because I don't really know what to expect. And after waiting so long, I'm even more pessimistic because it doesn't seem that he was very excited to sign with the Steelers. He kind of, I think, was just waiting and hoping that he would go somewhere else, and since we were his last and only option, he signed with us. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like he was urgent, and he didn't sign with a lot of urgency. So I'm a little pessimistic with it, and am I mad? No. Do I think that they should have went with Fields? Maybe, just because of the age. Mason Rudolph? In my heart, I would have loved to have seen a Mason Rudolph insanity run, but I don't know. I mean, we'll never know now. I mean, maybe never say never, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see how it goes. At the end of the day, if you hate my opinion for being pessimistic, leave me a hate comment in the comment section below and tell me what you hate about me, but try to keep it PG and try to keep it nice because I'm not going to be mean to any of you in the comment section below. But I know for some reason, knowing how a lot of you guys act when it comes to my slightly negative opinions, you always hate on me. So leave me a hate comment and I'll respond to it. And if you agree with being pessimistic, leave a comment section below. And listen, like I said, I'm going to lay it out there. I'm not pessimistic on the idea of Aaron Rodgers. I'm pessimistic on the idea that Aaron Rodgers is the answer this season. I don't really know if any quarterback would have been the answer this season, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers was the best option for us. But at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and also leave a like if you disagreed, because you like to agree to disagree. And I think that's a good motto to look at. And subscribe for more NFL content, because this isn't the only type of stuff we do. This is just big news for me because I'm a Steelers fan. And we also do a lot of Bengals content because the guy, Josh, who runs the whole thing, is a huge Bengals fan. So if you're a Bengals fan, Steelers fan, leave a subscribe, or just any NFL fan. We cover all NFL news, media coverage, games, especially during the season and preseason, and draft related content, but now the draft's over, so we're kind of in this like gap period. So, but yeah, follow along, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and check out the merch in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching. Go Lurs.